everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is School of Confidence's YouTube channel, and I'm going to be using it to share how I was able to pull off my personal CDS project at NYSC. I kept everything about my NYSC off social media until I did my project. So yes, and I know this particular series will help somebody. It will inspire somebody out there to launch out that thing that God has put in their hearts to do. It's going to encourage somebody. It's not easy for me to share this. I mean, I've been trying to wave it off, but it keeps coming. You have to share your story. You have to share the testimonies, the behind the scenes for somebody out there thinking that it's all rosy, and for somebody out there who is scared or about to give up, on that dream. So yeah, so and just in case you're here and you're like, oh, it's just an NYS personal CDS project, it's nothing, please scroll. This is not for you. I mean, whether you're an S-copper, you're much more senior, don't discredit the efforts that went into this. It's not a small feat. It stretched me. Go and ask anybody. This dispensation that we are, this current economy is not smiling. So if I was able to do that as a copper, trust me, it's no small feat. So if you feel that, oh, it's just, please just scroll past. This is not for you. This is for people who want to do the same thing, or people who want to launch out something but they are scared. This would help you. Yeah, so stay back. Now, welcome back. So, about how I was able to do this. First of all, I'll give you a back end story. I was posted to Kogi State. I wanted to serve in Abuja for good reasons, actually. But when it didn't work, I stayed back at local Kogi State. But when I was in camp, I was very active. I arrived camp the first day camp, orientation camp. I arrived camp the first day. Was supposed to arrive camp, and I was very active in the OBS. I was that person that was known in the OBS, and yeah, I was really active. I gave a lecture in camp. Yes, I spoke to my fellow corps members on confidence and self-esteem. I sold my book in camp. I gave out my number, gave out free books, and I participated in the inter-platoon debate. Yes, for my platoon, I represented my platoon. And yeah, after camp, I was posted to my PPA. And when I was posted to my PPA, is that kind of place that you can't just do things anyhow. It's quite conservative. There are strict rules. You can't just do anyhow. So I felt that doing my project might be stressful here because permissions and all that might not be easily granted. So I was feeling discouraged. But guess what? I decided to start small. So I submitted my proposal in June, quite early. I've already listened to them in camp talking about personal CDS project, the benefits and all that. Me, I'm like, okay, I will do this for the society. So I submitted my proposal in June, and then I can remember the day I submitted. That was my first shock when it comes to this. I submitted my proposal. I had already asked them for the template, and I followed the template they gave me to submit. And trust me, the way the official behaved initially was discouraging to me. He treated my proposal like, it's just one of those things. It's not deep. And I felt bad because I knew what I was planning. Most times when coppers do project, they feel like it's going to be wishy-washy because of money. It's going to be somehow. But I'm not just a copper. I know the value I bring to the table. So I felt bad the way he was treated. They were expecting me to build something, borehole and all those things. But I'm doing something I'm passionate about, so that even if it gets tough, I can keep pushing. Okay, so I'm not going to say because everybody's building borehole or because everybody's visiting over orphanages, I'll go and do the same. No, I have a specific passion, and I have this need I want to meet for the society as my project. I don't want somebody to pressurize me to do what I don't want to do. So the attitude in which, I don't know what happened. I understand probably the stress of too much coppers disturbing and all that. The attitude that time was somehow, but thank God I didn't take it to heart. At that point, I was asking myself, like, I'm trying to do something for the society. I mean, you are not paying me for this. At that point, I was just thinking, people are paying me for this, and I'm doing it for the society for free. And then this attitude is coming up. I mean, who sent me? I began to ask myself questions, but God told me, I sent you. Who sent me? Who even sent me? And God answered, I sent you. So I was like, well, I will shock them to know that this is not just one kind of program. And yeah, when I was in camp, I forgot something. When I was in camp, I met the state coordinator. I met her, gave her my book, and she collected her number. She needed help with publishing her book and all that. So we became friends. And me thinking that she would still be the state coordinator when I left camp, it happened that she retired when I was in camp. Yes. So they had a new state coordinator, but at least I still know her and we talk a lot. So um, I went on to do my project. So I wanted to use my church. My church here is not even yet plastered; it's still under construction. They are trying, but I wanted to use a church building because I felt that I might not have the money to rent a place. So let's use church. So I had to visit a sister church here in Lokoja, but the criteria and everything they were giving me was not working. So I decided to use my own church, even though it's not plastered, since my own church was even willing to help me with it. And since I don't know whether I'll be renting a place, so I'd already made up my mind to use the church. So I was discussing with my mom, and she began to tell me like decoration and all that. I'm like, I don't have money for decoration, no. And all that. And my church is a church that we don't wear trousers. So I don't even know how I will stand at the altar with my khaki trouser, and then the logo of my church is there, and pictures are taken, and then even though I know, yes, this is my uniform. I mean, I was just considering so many things, and the fact that some people might think it's a church program, and I might not be able to control the crowd and the number of people coming in and out, based on the refreshment and all. So, church wasn't a good idea, but I was already making up my mind to use the church, and so I'm just going to share. Pick your lessons. There are so many lessons that I'm sharing because of you, and then I was just there, and then God used somebody to change the whole thing for me. God used somebody to change the whole thing for me. I told the person my budget. I had already come up with a budget of like 300 and something thousand, everything based on the small event I wanted to have, no renting, small things. Based on the mindset I had, I honestly thought it was going to be a small thing. So I wasn't willing to spend a lot of money. So the budget came up to 300 and something. And then this person sent me more than half of 300. And I'm like, even me, I can provide the remaining. If I work hard, I can provide the remaining. So it was kind of a boost of my confidence then. It was like, I was not like, I can even do something big. I mean, what's even limiting me from renting a place, decorating it, making it bigger than actually it's in my mind? So that encouraged me. I began to reach out to people. Now, trust me, if I had put up a public announcement saying, I want this, I want that, people are going to send in millions of naira. I've built my brand for 4 years plus, and I've gained that trust, especially from SOC parents. They're going to send me money, but I was careful of people I reached out to. I didn't reach out to everybody. I reached out to SOC parents that, their clients and their clients. I have people that I built that bond with. Some people reach out their children with me, but we don't vibe. So it's just few persons, like five, maybe seven, I reached out to. And there's some other parents that I know that are not SOC parents, but I'm good with them. My mother's friends or something like that, or adult friends I have on social media. Very few of them I reached out to. And yeah, and they wowed me. They wowed me. They sent me a lot of money. I mean, I never had issue. This project, I never had issue with financial constraints. The only issue I had is that the people I'm doing this for did not appreciate it. Like the schools I'm inviting did not. I will still get to that point. They were not coming through. But okay, so we moved on. I wanted to rent a hall, rented a hall. The place I wanted to use their hall is a secondary school. So they're like, they don't rent their halls on school days. They rent on Saturdays. I had to tell them the kind of program I was doing. I wanted to gather 100 secondary school students and teach them how to build a healthy confidence and self-esteem, teach them public speaking. So they're like, okay, they will allow me to use it. But the time I chose is the exam week. So they were like, I should push it upwards or downwards. I pushed it upwards because I believe that I'll be rounding up service by December. So I pushed it upwards, and they agreed. I paid. And I was thinking, oh, I've already submitted my proposal. How do I go back to go and change dates? Trust me, it went far. It went fine. When I brought my letter of invitation, I changed the date, and nobody disturbed me. I mean, I asked questions, and they're like, no problem, change your date in the letter of invitation you bring to NYSC. And so when I brought my letter of invitation, and all that, this is under NYSC, so there's some processes. You submit progress reports, this, and the progress report sample they gave me, the person had already done her project, so it was difficult for me to follow that pattern. A lot of things I just prayed about it. It was becoming frustrating and stressful at some point, but I prayed about it, and by the time I got there, the staff was like, I don't want to stress anymore. Just bring it, and God just answered my prayers. I didn't spend so much money on that again. I didn't spend so much time trying to submit that progress report and letter of invitation. That one, by the way, God answered my prayers. You need to pray. You see, when it's getting tough, just pray. Okay. Now I have some funny experiences. I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money and printing papers and all that, going to school, sending invitations. I went to virtually all the schools in local Jakobi State. And some were far, some were not far. Almost all the secondary schools you can think of. Most of them will say they don't have money for coming, they don't have fuel, they don't have car. Some of them will say they don't want their students to miss class. So many excuses. In fact, I was supposed to have 10 students, 10 students from 10 schools, 100 students. At the end of the day, I had 80 students from 3 schools. All the schools I sent invitation to, most of them backed out. And that was almost at the last minute. And trust me, it was traumatizing for me. But I will get there. I'll get there soon to explain what happened. Now, I also went ahead to try to, I didn't even tell people. I wanted to use the commissioner for, I wanted to go to the commissioner for education to see if they can give me a government hall, but the processes were becoming tough. I couldn't meet him. And again, for I know that definitely to use the government hall, there will be processes that might delay and we don't have time. We need to plan. So I said I'm not going to continue pushing. I will just invite the person. I won't ask for that government hall. It was even tough to see him. So I brought my invitation to him, and for days and weeks I was following up my letter. They would tell me he's not here, blah blah blah. I'll come and go, waste transport and go. At a point, one thing about this project, at some point it gets frustrated. You're like, you won't do again, you won't send invitations again, you won't ask again. But your conscience will tell you, keep trying until the day you do this project, so that you satisfy your conscience and know that I tried. Do you understand? So I followed up the letter I sent to the commissioner, and he wasn't coming through. So I left it. And then my boss was like, oh, I should go to the secretary to the state government and send her invitation, that she likes this kind of programs. So I did, and the first day we were asked, I went with a friend, we were asked, okay, no problem, they'll give her the letter to read. And that letter, I wrote invitation, added my proposal, my approved project proposal, added pictures of the books and what we have done in other places. Early Confidence Initiative has happened in different schools. So I put pictures. You will know that this person knows what she's doing. But something happened, and that's where the testimony is. So I went back the day they said I should come back to know what she's saying about the letter. And then they were like, the woman was like, what's the heading again? Are you sure? I said, my letter lost. Like, that was the first thing on my mind. I was really frustrated. And please note that almost all the schools I was going to were backing out at this point. So I was like, who sent me to do this thing? And so she said we should come the next day. And I was telling my friend, come and do what when you can't even find my letter, And that's how the next day I didn't want to go. The Holy Spirit said, go. You need to go. Don't give up. You keep trying until you do this project. Even until the day of the project, don't give up. So so I went the next day, and immediately I met the woman at the gate, the secretary to secretary. I met her at the gate, and she was like, oh, that they're coming. It was just such a good news for me, because I mean, I've been through so many disappointments at that point. So it encouraged me. I quickly moved to the commissioner's office because it was close by, and kept pushing my letter there. But the secretary to commissioner wanted to help me push my letter, but it wasn't working. So I just left it. He didn't come. He didn't see my letter. He didn't acknowledge it. So the SSG said he would send this PA and the secretary. So, and that day the man came actually. Yes, even though he didn't stay for long, I had to go to his office to give him some things for the woman and all that. But that's by the way they came. And then now most most of the schools I invited were backing out. And once any school backs out, I would go and invite another school. So I didn't give up. I kept doing this, calling schools until Wednesday afternoon, and my program was on Thursday. It was on Wednesday afternoon it dawned on me that I was supposed to have 10 schools actually, and then I had only 3. How did I come about these 3? One school was like, oh, they like this kind of projects, they will come. I begged them to give me 15 students, not 10. They agreed. The host school that I was going to rent their hall, I begged them to give me 20, and they agreed. Then I went to one school and the principal was jovial. I had to pour my heart to him. I explained to him that I was going through a lot. I'm a couple, I want to do this. And most of the schools, they don't appreciate this. They're not coming forth. And then we laughed together. He encouraged me. And then what he did was that day, he used this car to bring his students. He was supposed to bring 20 students from his school. He brought 10 first and went back to bring 10. Honestly, I don't know him from anywhere. He just showed me grace and I appreciate it. He did it with his own car and fuel. So I appreciate what he did. Now I had 55 students. On Wednesday evening, I went to the hall to see what they were doing. I paid for premium. I paid for premium decoration, premium DJ, premium sound, and different things. I went to see what they were doing in the hall, and at that point, I was frustrated. Like, so after all my efforts of printing letters, transporting myself to very far places, near places, wherever you can think of. In fact, any school you mention around, I will tell you I've gone there, and they didn't come forth. So I was like, so I will now have 55 students. So it was becoming discouraging to me. So at that point, I called my parents and I was sounding very down. And at that point, I began to shed tears. I just wanted to let go of the whole emotion. See, anybody that has done a huge project for their service here, go and ask them. It's always overwhelming. I was thinking, oh, why would I even be crying? But if I met somebody else that did 5 projects, not an event like mine, she did some sensitization programs, like 5. She also cried at some point. It can be very overwhelming, as a couple, you're trying to do something and it's not working. So I went to the hall to see what they were doing that Wednesday afternoon. And then I called my parents and I began to, shed tears. I said, you're not paying me. People pay for this. You're not paying me. People have sponsored you from different parts of the world. We don't have financial challenges and we are giving you the best. Just come and listen. Go with the books we have. I'm giving you one of my books, Confidence Manner for Kids and Things, for free. Just come and listen and they were just behaving somehow. So I felt really bad. I felt frustrated and overwhelmed. And my parents were encouraging me. I just put off the phone. My friend called me. Oh, what's going on? I just thought I would talk later. She called me back. What's going on? She's worried. I asked her that I was feeling bad about the whole thing. She began to encourage me that I know you're feeling bad because you put so much effort and these people are not coming forth. See, even if it's 10 persons that come that day, that was her response. Said, even if it's 10 persons that come that day, it's worth it. The excellence you put into this project is worth it. Even if it's one person that listens, it is worth it. And then my dad said something again that encouraged me. He said, do you think you're the one doing the project? You think, Bible said, um you've planted, you've watered, but it's God that gives the increase. So he told me, you're not the one doing this project. So if you've tried your best and it's not working, please let it be. So what did I do? Already I told you, one school was giving me 15, one school was giving me 20, and the host school was giving me 20. So the morning of that day, I went to the hall. I couldn't even sleep well at night. Of course, somebody that has something to do the next day, you'll be feeling, So I woke up as early as 4, had my bath. The person that would take me to that place said it's coming by 6:30, so I was ready. I went there by 6:30 and I had to call one of my clients, Lovett, to come help me. She stays in Kogi State, so I had to beg her to come and help me with a few things. And then one other of my church members, Sister Esther. So I didn't invite much people. I invited a few persons because I didn't have money to cater for them. So I only told few persons that I know are important to the project. I mean, I can't invite everybody. I can't cater for everybody, so I can't invite everybody. So I had to apologize to people I couldn't invite. So when I got to the hall, I had to beg the host school, and you make it 30, and they agreed. Guess what? When it was time for students to start coming in, um, they became 40. In fact, students were outside begging to join. At the end of the day, the whole school gave us 45 students. And then I had 20 students coming from one school that the principal agreed to bring the students. And then 15. That school that was giving us 15, they even forgot. They even forgot that they were supposed to come. I had to send somebody to Woody and bring them. Can you imagine? Well, at the end of the day, I didn't even know because I didn't, of course, I didn't have the time to count. I was just running up and down the place that day, and then somebody was kind enough to take attendance for me. So I had the list of the students that came for the program. And at the end of the day, I had 80 students out of 100. Honestly, it shocked me. See me that was crying that I had 55 students instead of 100. I had 80 students. And later I was asking God why he made it 80. He said, do you realize that if you had had 100 students, the things, refreshments you have will not be enough? And truth be told, I had more guests than even students. So if I had had 100 students, it will not be enough truly. And again, that night, I remember calling my mentor and she told me, oh, I'm praying for this project. I wanted to tell you, but I felt like I don't need to tell you that I'm praying for you. And so she prayed for me. I called Pastor Faith. Pastor Faith is one of my friends, and he prayed for me. He said something, and he likes to pray prayers that used to make me afraid. He said, even people that have said yes that they will come will not come if God doesn't want them to be there. So people that will come for that program are people that God wants to come. If God doesn't want them to come, not to come, they won't come. So that prayer was really, making me afraid. I mean, I'm looking for people. I telling them not to come. So then, if God wants them to come, they will come. If God doesn't want them to come, they will not come. So it's not a bad prayer. Okay. So I was also able to invite my CDS. Not everybody, just few persons I told to come, like 7 persons, that they will help me with sharing of refreshments and some other things. And they were so helpful. That day they arrived and they took it upon themselves as though I've been planning this thing with them. Like my audience was never bored because they were keeping my audience engaged for me to settle some things and all that. It was really encouraging. Yeah, so the local government inspector arrived. My boss, when I was in camp, my boss at OBS, he came and was really helpful, helped us with the MC work, directed us on how to anchor the events and all that. And yeah, I really thank God. There are some behind the scene testimonies, like, okay, for example, now the photography and videography. When the full video is out, I'm going to post it on this channel. My mom, everybody was like, oh, you can use your iPhone, you have a good phone to take your pictures and all that. I said, no, this project is not a project that I can use my iPhone. I want to use a good photographer and videographer to get something sharp. And the person has to be better than me. I'm good at these things. So I have to look for somebody that's better than me. And I was really ready to pay well, okay? But money. So I looked at the balance I had and I was like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. After I've made inquiries and I've gotten the brand to use in this local job. So I already knew that God will come through for me. I told the photographer to hold on, that I will definitely pay. And once I pay this, the deal is sealed. And that's how one of my clients sent me 100,000. She just said, oh, I will send something, And I opened something and it was 100,000. Like, that's a lot of money. So I paid, I didn't even pay up. I paid more than that actually, but I mean, that money was helpful. It added to how much I paid, and then yeah, we were able to sort that. Like, money wasn't an issue. God provided for me, honestly. People were sending me 50, 20, 10, 100. I mean, it was helpful. 200. God really came through for us, and I held a premium event for my CDS project. So it's not a small feat. I owed nobody. We incurred no debt. Everybody was paid. My the refreshments, the vendors I used, they had made puff puff for the kids. People that made meat pie for my guests, they did well. People were asking me, where did you get this woman from? Who is she? Does she have a brand? It was so nice. They really tried. I experienced so many challenges. Now, when I was submitting my final report, there will always be, see, whenever you're doing anything government and there are processes to follow, just be prepared for stress, because you will be stressed mentally and physically. You will. But God pulled me through. I never felt sick. Even though whenever I'm planning something like this, I take drugs at the beginning of the month to avoid. But trust me, it's not about drugs. God came through for me. Yes, it strengthened me. There were days I was overwhelmed. When they started telling you do this, when somebody is telling you what to do, they'll give you happy information. And then you come back and they'll say, oh, it's not like this. Continue. They stress you, they transport this. So it can be overwhelming and frustrating. But when you're done, you will satisfy your conscience that you've done something for the community, and posterity will thank you. So it's something worth doing. I have this very funny thing that happened in that day of the event. So I'd already picked up the books I gave, the books, exercise books and everything I would give the students. And the printer, his boys, they gave me 2 cartons and then small other cartons of books. So I packed it, entered bike with my books and all. Held those cartons for weeks. And I didn't open it because I felt that, oh, this will give me what I want. I only opened one small wrap of books and checked, and I saw this is what I want, so I moved on. That's how I kept it in my house. And then the day of the event, I was telling my people, oh, open it and start bringing out the books. That's how we opened the first carton. It was plain sheets. Second carton, plain sheets. Like the two big cartons that were there, that I was thinking that it would be full of books, was plain sheets. Other ones were books. Yeah. I thought it was going to be those books inside the cartons, not knowing it was plain sheets. And you will not even know. They opened the second one, they were like, oh, it's not plain sheets, or it's book. Oh, my, it was plain sheets. I ran mad. I ran outside. I called the printer. He said, where am I now? He called me. He came and said, oh, that my books are complete. I should count. And really, it was complete. The books in the other small wraps, they were complete. I did 150, I did 120. It was complete. But that plain sheet, they shouldn't have given it to me. And he said he had already locked up his boys. He had already locked up some people, in prison at the cell because of that. And I'm like, let them not curse me, not be me doing. Is their fault for not putting down their eyes to know that this is plain sheet. I mean, you should put down your eye and know what you're giving your customer. And me, I didn't open it because I felt that I've checked other things and I trusted them very well. So I picked up my goods. So he came and then we used it to take pictures. In fact, if you look at that picture, you think it's one of those things I did, but I just for aesthetics. But truly, that thing is plain sheets. It's really funny, Okay, so it was really funny because I was just pitying the people that have been locked up, but was their carelessness actually. They should have known that this is not part of my goods before. And me that even carried it, it was hard, as it was difficult for me to carry it. I kept it in my house for weeks. And place it now is costly and it could be original paper. So, but that's by the way. I mean, really funny things happened. And that prayer that Pastor Faith prayed, he said some people that will come that day might not believe. If God doesn't want them to come, they won't come. If God wants them to come, they will come. So he told me, anybody you see that they know that God wants them to be there. And guess what? There's somebody I dreaded coming. I wouldn't mention name because he's somebody that just makes me nervous. I don't know. But I was ready to face him, but I just dreaded him coming. And guess what? That day he did come. So that prayer worked. You need to be prayerful whenever you're holding a project, whenever you're doing anything. You need to be very prayerful, and you need to learn to take a break. If you feel like I'm overwhelmed, you're submitting a program, you're submitting a letter of invitation, you're doing this and it's getting overwhelming, take a rest. Like take a break, go and rest and come back. At least give it some time, you'll be back on your feet. God really came through for me. Now, my pastors in church, one of my pastors in church directed me to another pastor in Kogi East, and told me that he was a secretary to National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS. National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS. So he's a secretary in that association. So the man took up, when you relate something to somebody and they take it up on their head to make sure that thing comes to be. That's exactly what the man did for me. He would ask me, have you gone here? Have you gone there? He tried. When he saw that people and that schools were backing out, he said, okay, I'm going to post it on our group, on their proprietors group, and ask them to reach out to me. They didn't still reach out. But, he took it upon himself. He was calling me, making sure everything was in order and all that. And he came for the program from Kogi East. Kogi East is like it's like hours from here, from Lokoja. So I really appreciated his support. God will raise men for you that would help you on days you'll be really tired. Just pray for the right men. I enjoyed the gift of right people. I enjoyed gift of money, support funds. I did enjoy. The only thing I didn't enjoy is, people turning up. But that day my hall was filled. I mean, the space I had for students, I was saying that, oh, they will not come. I had 3 schools, but my hall was filled. And students were outside begging to come in. But we had to stick to what we planned because of the refreshment we had. So trust me, God came through for me. My mom told me that my dad prayed that midnight. That Wednesday, I was feeling bad. He prayed. I did. In fact, that she would wake up to go and eat herself and then hear my daddy praying. Because I felt really bad. I felt like, do you know how much I spent for transport? And to print papers. And the way some of them will even treat the letter. They don't know what they are missing. Things that people pay me for, I'm doing for free. And I tried to explain that you're getting this for free. And we're having a competition between schools, and the best school will get the award. And most of them just threw it out and didn't want to come. So I felt really bad. And yeah, that helped me also to release the emotions. And I picked up myself, and the next day I did it like the boss I was and I am still. So everything went. I have this CLO, Chief Licensing Officer, that I was calling because we were friends. We were in OBS when we were in camp. So now he's now with CLO. So I was calling him, is the LGI around? Is this happening? Is this happening? And he was helpful. He was replying me. And that saved me the stress of coming and going, making mistakes and spending so much funds, coming to see LJ and not meeting him. I had to ask questions, is he around? He would answer me, he was there for me, he would pick my call. The day I submitted my final report, last week, I was like, it was as if a burden left me. Like, I'm done with this phase. I've done what I wanted to do. I'm proud of myself. I was able to do this despite all the hurdles, all the odds. It's not easy. I didn't have issues with funds because I didn't have to go and be writing to people, offices to give me money. Online people, they sorted me out. Privately, so I didn't even make noise. Few persons, they were sending big money to support the project. And I'm grateful for them. I told them I'm a fertile land. And as you have sown, God will replenish your pocket 100-folds in Jesus' name. So I'm really thankful. I have a lot of testimony. The project was done with maximum excellence, and I'm proud of myself. So if you want to launch out anything, if you want to do your CDS project, I'd advise you seek the help of your LGI, ask them what to do, take templates or what other people have done, and follow the templates and still maintain your uniqueness, please. And if you have connections you can make to speed up, like I told you, the CLO is my friend. Like, I know him with vibe, so he was able to call me, I'll call him, and he made my journey easier. At the same time, the stress was more to forget. So even if you know somebody, so talk more of where you don't know anybody. So any relationship you can get to make things easy. And if you don't have a strong online presence for money, you can reach out to, see, you have people. If SOC was not there, people sent me money that are my friends that are not really SOC people. So try to make relationships that will help. I had 3 schools when I was expecting 10 schools. And at the end of the day, I had 80 students, thinking I would have 55 a day before and crying about it. And the fact that some people that were not coming through, we are becoming supportive at the end. The fact that God raised men to help me, to support me like it was their own project. They came that day, and every single support I needed, they provided it. I'm grateful for that, honestly. I had some disappointments. In fact, that school owner, that's the greatest disappointment I had in this project. People, they will just say, oh, no, we're not coming. And I will quickly go to another school. Since October, I've been going from school to school. One school backs out, I go to another school. And then at the end, I'm like, 2, 3. I felt bad though. And that kind of taught me again that you would try your best as a human being. At the same time, at the end of the day, God's will prevail. What God wants will prevail. Do you understand? So it made me know that I shouldn't idolize hard work. Don't idolize hard work. God gives the increase. Work hard, but don't idolize it. Know that it's not by your works. Because if it's by works, I should have many students. But it's not by works. It's by God's grace. It's by God's increase. God came through for me. I don't know that principal that brought 20 students with his own car and fuel. So, I mean, it's something to be grateful for. And now, the LGI told them to give me recommendation letters, which they gave me. The school and the host school gave me. Now, the third school, the school that I had to go and remind that they were supposed to come for the program, I tried to follow them up. No calls, no returning of my calls, no replying of my messages. I visited. The person I was looking for was not around. I was told they would tell him I came. He didn't. Recommendation letter is something that you give out of honor. So when you start doing somehow, it's dishonorable. So I just moved. I stopped pushing for it. I know that if I've done something well, you should give me what they asked you. What's then giving me a piece of paper to say that you recommend me? So I just stopped pushing for it. They might still give me before I'm done with service. I don't know. But I've decided not to push for it again. So the 2 schools out of 3 gave me recommendation. And guess what? I gave everybody the same thing I gave others. The only thing I didn't give, I only gave one school was award. Everything, books, pen, everything was given to each student that came. So I don't know why they were not coming through, but it's fine. Now, When I submitted my final report, I was asked to add my citations. So I began to add everything I did from my service here, from the camp, OBS, the lecture I gave, blah blah blah. I listed everything, and that's what I'm. This is for coppers. If you are serving, please start from camp to make an impact. I'm always impact driven. I know that people I met in camp, I might not meet them again. So I was ready to give that lecture, give them my number and connect with them before they leave camp. After camp, I didn't stop. In my CDS, I was made the PRO. I did the slides, and I'm still doing the slides, the designs, the videos for the CDS. Very professional videos. Do you understand? So I've been active. So I listed it, added pictures of my projects and all that. And because I got good pictures, when it was printed, it was really sharp and nice. So my final report is really cute. It's really cute, and I thank God for everything. I'm glad I've finally done this. Yeah. Any lessons you learned, please drop it in the comment section. It will encourage me to know that I've not just wasted my time. I've been led to do this, and I didn't expect to even do it today. It just became a strong urge. I believe somebody out there needs to hear the story, back end story of whatever you see, because I know it's looking all glamorous and all, but behind it we are tears, we are frustrations, we are rejections, we are disappointments. Sometimes I didn't know where the next money will come from. But I mean, God has a way of sending helpers. And to SOC parents who have coached their children and they're like, this is good. I mean, I can sponsor it to get to people. I mean, God bless you. I have people from USA, UK, Abuja, Lagos. They are sending me money for this project. And I can't but thank God for them. Thank you so much. God bless you. And if you're watching me, try to be encouraged. Borrow my courage. It's not going to be easy. Whatever you want to do that is good, it's not going to be easy. You have forces. Pray and have people to support you. I even had to call Pastor Faith at some point. Pastor Faith Ubong. Yeah, most of you know him on Facebook, but he's not active for now. I called him and he gave me a detail of how to save costs with the refreshment. Yes. And so you can reach out to people. And he made me laugh that day. He was even telling me how to, not buy the drinks yet until you know how many audience you have and so many things. Like it was supportive. So if you have people that can tell you or do it with you, please, by all means, please get people. You can't do it alone. Some ideas, like now, the idea of an award came from Choma Nana. I was encouraging Choma to also make this kind of impact in her place, and she told me, "Oh, how about you add an award to this thing you're doing? It will encourage the students to be active that day." So we did it, and yeah, it's good. So I don't know what your lessons are. I just hope I've done what God has asked me to do, and I hope it blesses somebody. So as you listen, pick your lessons and move on. What I do, I'm a confidence and self-esteem coach. I'm the director at School of Confidence, author of 25 books, and a lot of things too. But this is basically what I do online. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and yeah, we'll all be fine. We'll all make impact. We'll all grow. Like now, I've grown so much with that. I know that I've now gained the confidence to hold more physical events. I've done like 4 or 5 virtual events, but now I'm encouraged to do more physical events. So try to kill your lions and bears before you handle Goliath, and it's going to really help you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.
That thing you are afraid of doing is what you need to do. I'm not saying you do the wrong things, but when you see that, for example, you can't do public speaking, you can't maintain conversations, you are afraid to write your exams. What